All right, our next one, next item up is monthly budget reports. Tim, you want to talk to us about it?
Yeah, the reports that you have for the month of July show that it's really a very slow month, probably the slowest month of the year, primarily because there's no general state aid, there's very little tax revenue. A lot of the revenue that we do get, as I highlighted in the report, is money that really is coming from the prior year, is money that's owed us for reimbursements or grants from the prior year. As we talked about last night, we still have about $209,000 on reimbursements that go back to last year that we should be receiving, but we don't know exactly when that will be. So the total revenue for the month was only $348,000, which is about 1% of our budgeted revenue for the year, or 1.5%, I guess. The operating expenditures are also fairly low in July because we have much lower payrolls. The expenditures were $866,000, which was 3.7% of budget, and we're 8.3% through the year. So I highlighted two of the more significant items on the expenditures: the workers' compensation premium, which was $69,000, and the first payment that we made on the ERO, which was $86,000. You probably noticed in the bills there's more ERO payments. Those will show up on the August financial reports, but for this report, financial report, it was only $86,000. And we closed the month with an operating fund balance of $5.3 million, 22.6% of our operating budget expenditures.
Any questions for Tim?
I have just one.
Okay.
On the building fund, how come that is so? What did we spend $215,000 on that? Why is that? Why do we have such a large variance in that?
Can you describe what page you're asking
Under
about?
the expenditures.
Well, we don't have page numbers on our reports.
Is
that
the
O&M
fund?
Which header on the top?
So it's 1, 2, 3. The header on the top says financial report, revenue and expenditures, July 31st, 2001. Under fund, then it says operating funds, and then building, the third line down. The revenue was $54,000. Expenditures.
Page 35. And it's your O&M fund, and you have in there Service Master, or is that Airmark?
Airmark is $100,000, so that's almost half of it is just our monthly payment to Airmark for the custodial services.
And you also have the utilities in there, right?
In addition to that, yeah, you have the workers' compensation is in there
And the
that I
utilities.
just talked about, as well as
Workman's comp would be in the building fund?
I was thinking the same.
that's where it's put, yes.
Why would that be? It's an insurance.
Yeah, seems odd that
It's
it's
a good
a...
place for it,
And a $33,000 electric bill.
Yeah,
Right.
so that's almost it.
my questions have to do with what we discussed for 4 hours yesterday versus this. The budgeted amount for the education fund for revenues and expenditures at this point, and neither the total or the detail match the budget so far. I presume they will after we
Yes, that was, the changes that were made to the budget recently that we talked about last night were not put into the DCR system. So they will be updated
Okay.
when you get the financials for the month of August.
The other thing is, in the footnote on the budget from yesterday on the education fund, it says that the self-insurance is included in here. On these reports, you put it as a separate line. Is there some reason that we don't? And I realize your budget, your revenues and your expenditures offset, but on a monthly basis, you're showing activity. So I don't understand why on our overall budget, we don't put a line item in the education fund for self-insurance, or operating fund for self-insurance, but in here we break it out.
I think the reason it's not included on the budget is because it is considered a wash. So the revenue and the expenditure and budget are the same. We can certainly put it in.
I just, again, it's
Yeah.
nice for me just that things are consistent, the reports. And then I just suggest you double check on the total revenues, because the difference in the expenditures match what we were talking about yesterday, but the difference in the revenues don't come to any number we were discussing before on this the detailed report here.
Any other questions for Tim?
I do, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but under the operating funds,
What page?
my last question, the same page, that building, isn't that Fund 60, that account 60? Would building be under the Fund 60?
Building and grounds, the work that Airmark does, you know, in terms of maintaining the building and that's under 20, which is operations and maintenance.
That,
60 is
should be O&M then, right?
capital projects. Which
Capital project, so it's Fund 20.
You just change the title from building to O&M, because it's,
Just trying to be consistent.
Yes.
Did we make that change?
Well, in the Township Treasurer's report, it says building.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
So this is what he gets from the township.
okay.
The $57,000 we paid the township, can we ever say to him, can we change it?
translated.
Well,
Yeah,
I was
so
something?
how
talking
can
to
you
somebody
match-
today about it, and what Mike and Mary Ann Liebert did last year to try to scrub the budget to make it look a little bit more presentable by department, we had to pay the town, am I right, Mike? We had to pay the township office extra money to do that?
I was never aware that we paid extra.
That's what I was told.
They never told me that, if that was true.
Can we check into that, Tim? We paid for that? Because that's what I was told.
Tim, would it make it easier maybe next month, in just a summary or an additional page? We can just give a disclaimer of what the accounts are, right off the DCR and what. So it's kind of like a little glossary right in the front, so they understand that building is really, is what the DCR calls operations and maintenance. It's Fund 20, and this entails that, you know, error mark, building and ground, building maintenance. This way we do that one time, and we can include it in all the reports going forward, so when they're looking that stuff up.
Any other questions for Tim?
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Tim, this last page, the school summary of fund balance year to date. It's this one,
What page, John?
it's the little print. It's like
Page 1,
it's our second. Yeah.
this one here, Matt.
Okay, what I'd like you to do is take this and stick it on this page, okay? So we had beginning balance, ending balance, and these numbers, I think, coincide with what's on there, so we can sort of have a summary of what's happening in each fund. If you could do that. Because the way this is set up, it's not consistent with the categories again, so it's hard to read. I don't know what other people feel about that, but
Well, does he even need to make a spreadsheet then? Because these are the spreadsheets we agreed, as a finance committee, that we sent out to the board, and we didn't get any feedback except that we wanted to add some more clarifying headers.
You mean as a finance advisory committee?
Correct. As the superintendent's advisory group, they worked with Tim and I to generate these reports. And I sent them out to the board, and I didn't get any feedback except the header question.
But we haven't had a chance to talk about them as the board, and I was hoping at the retreat, we've mentioned that a couple times in emails, that it'd be nice to bring the finances and how we look at the finances to the retreat.
We can also do that at our committee of the whole meeting
Right.
on August 27th.
September 27th.
I mean, September 27th, and bring that up as what we want to direction go with.
Okay.
Right, I mean, because when you have your advisory groups, you're talking to two people, but now that information has to come to all of us so that we can have a conversation. But when it comes email, it's coming one way, we don't reply.
So what we'll do is, one of the key meetings for the committee of the whole on September 27th, we'll be talking about financial report formatting and getting feedback on that direction.
Well, maybe we can also do that at a retreat. I think it'd be important. We're all going to be together, and
I think that.
Why wait?
I think that if you look at the retreat, I think that formatting of financial reports is, on the order of priority, is not as great as other items that need to be addressed on governance and everything else. If we have a committee of the whole meeting on September 27th, we can focus a majority of that meeting to be able to make sure that we're getting the right financial reporting that the board wants from our finance, our CFO, and then being able to have the open discussion that you want to have, and so we can go back and get it done. That's what I'm saying.
Maybe during that meeting, Matt and Kevin, could we have like a projector, you know, like your computer to an
Yeah.
projector? And that way, when we're talking about columns and headers, you can kind of move things, if you need to move things around, or, you know, we could be looking at a screen and you could be pointing at it and working with actual data right there while we're all talking about that.
Not opposed, I could do whatever the group wants.
Sure,
Would
Laura,
that be helpful?
Item 12 on our agenda is to put things up for future meetings. You
No,
wanna
but
do
he
that?
said we're gonna talk about on the 27th. I was asking if he had a screen, was able to hook his computer up to an LCD, and then we would all see that page.
I was just suggesting any future items are, we're going to talk about at the end of the meeting for future meetings, what we want to do.
Okay.
I got it, Laura.
Okay. I would just like to ask one thing,
Can I
Tim.
still
Yeah.
finish up on
Okay.
this?
Sorry.
Thank you.
Kevin, you may have sent that to me, and I may not have looked at it, I'm sorry. But see, these numbers, I don't care if you make this a separate column, just get everything consistent, you know, with the operating fund and the building.
Is there a reason they're not lining up,
Yeah, it's
Jim?
not like, they're inconsistent. I just gotta match with whatever we have here, if you don't wanna put them on one.
Is it that the DCR is a month behind and you're going to the date of the board packet?
I don't know what's inconsistent.
John's not, the numbers match. The totals match, they're just in different orders and some
Yeah, it's like different
way.
orders and stuff, and if, you know, just if, this to me is unacceptable, it's unclear. We gotta fix this. I need
Which
this,
one is that?
that's the one with the fund balances.
That's the report.
That's the
comes
report
from
from
the
DCR.
treasurer.
That's
Okay,
the
so-
software package.
So can we translate this to make it to an Excel file to look like this? That's my point.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I need.
Okay, any other questions to Tim on the budget?
No, I would just ask, Tim, when we print this, is it possible just to add a page number? Because when we're talking, we're always saying what page.
Tim, I'll tell you right now what Chris did, it would help. He just manually marked on the sheet when they made the copies. Am I right, Mary Ann? They would just make,
Oh.
I did that on the bills list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
there are pages on it.
These revenue
Some
and expenditures
pages.
have page numbers at the top.
Yeah.
Really?
Some-
Oh,
yeah,
I
but-
didn't see where are the page numbers?
Right up
Oh,
here.
on the top?
It depends. We get the package like this, and there's 4 different reports put together, and some have page numbers
Oh.
and some don't.
Oh, but,
So what they're
not
saying is they do
consistent.
this, they take the whole
Oh.
package and they manually page it so that when we talk, we can figure out what page we're on. Because, you know, like the balance sheet type pages don't really have numbers.
Right. Okay.
All right, any other questions?